Our toField is kind of reactive. So now let's introduce the validation. How we can validate the data coming from that field using reactive programming and streams. So in order to do that, first of all, let's remove this part over here. And let's create a method, this email, which will take email as a parameter. And for now, we will just check if it contains an ampersand sign. If that's the case, we will consider that chain of characters an email. But then it could be replaced later on by a library, which does more extensive validation. Okay, the idea is that, let's go back to compose over here. So we have an observer here, and then on success we generate the text field, and on error we also generate a text field, but slightly different with the error message. So now it would be good to know how the stream and sync are connected. We already know that the sync is used to take the data that's being typed. The letters that are being typed into the field are received by the onChange method as a parameter, and then we pass it through the sync to the manager. But we are listening to the stream of values, and we are not using it here at all. One of the reasons is that we are not really interested in the value, because the value is just what user entered. So if you'd like to display the value below, in that case you'd be using this data over here. We are only interested if the data is valid and if there is no errors. We have this stream over here. We are listening to the email stream, which is this one, and it would be nice to be able to transform this stream somehow, so that whether it's a valid email, it will just return the email, and if it's not a valid email, it will raise or throw an error. So the first thing would be the first reflex could be to use the listen method. So we could do as we did before. So we have the email stream listen, and here we have the value. As you can remember, we can remove that because we are using subjects provided by RxDart. And then we could just here check if the value is an email and raise an error or not. But the problem is that our field, our observer, is listening to this stream over here. So it will always listen to the stream that's defined over here, and it will not know about the changes we are applying over here, because those changes should be integrated back into the stream that's being exposed by the manager. So it would be good to somehow transform the stream over here. And luckily enough, we have a method called transform, which does exactly what we need. So we don't need this part. We just need a stream transformer. So let's create one. So let's call it validate email, and this will be a stream transformer, and it will be transforming strings into strings. And we will use from handlers. We will take, so handle data takes as a first parameter, receives the value that's being passed, it's being in the stream, and as a second value it's receives a sync, which we can use to pass this value through, so that our transformer, if it receives the data from this stream over here, it can generate another stream by transforming it using this validate email. So here we have the value that we received, and we can just check if it's an email using our method like that. And we need to make this static, but we will later refactor it because it's not a good place to put those two things here. So if it's an email, it's good. And then we can use this sync to generate a value. And what should we generate? We could just pass the value we received, because that's not the situation we are really interested in. So passing the value, it means that everything is okay. Our transformer does nothing. If everything is okay, if it's an email, it just passes it through. It received an email, and on the other end, it's an email. But we are more interested in the situation where when there is a problem. It's the string that's being passed. Someone entered something. It's not an email. In this case, instead of passing it, we will generate an error. And here it's our message error. We defined the message error over here as an error. And let's use it. So validate email like that. So now our observer is listening to this email stream, and if everything is okay, we are just passing in our manager, we are passing the email, which means that it's a success. And we are not doing anything with the value. We are just interested in the information that everything is okay. It's an email. So we don't do anything, we just display the text field. And here, if there's an error, we are listening to the stream. Because we are using a transformer, it may also generate an error. And it's the case when the letters being entered into that field don't contain an ampersand character. So in that case, we generate the same text field, we are just adding the field. So let's see if it works. I'm typing something, and when I type ampersand, it disappears. But the error message is still the old one, so we can just remove that, and we can use the one we are defined in the manager. So here we defined our message error, and this is available as the error variable. So now, as you can see, our message error is displayed, and it works as expected. The only problem is that it's being validated at the very beginning. So we can just do a small trick and generate the first value as an ampersand, so it disappears. And now if I type something, but this will also mean that if there is an empty value, it will pass with this trick. So we will resolve that in the next episode. That's all for today. See you next time.